With Christmas just around the corner, our thoughts naturally turn to all of the joys that the festive season has to offer. And in my opinion, one of these joys is gift giving. Our family has really cut back on Christmas gift giving now that our children are grown, but I do still really enjoy putting together a few Christmas gift baskets every year with items that I thrift. To make this as easy as possible for myself, I decide fairly early in the year how many baskets I want to create, and I also set a budget and a theme for each basket. And by making these decisions early in the year, then I have several months to find these items in thrift stores and yard sales. And I'm not rushing around at the last minute trying to put these baskets together. So this year, I decided in March that I wanted to create 4 Christmas gift baskets, and I set a maximum budget of $20 for each, and I also set a theme for each. I think it's really important to pick a theme. That way you can tailor the basket to the interest of the recipient, and that way it looks and feels much more thoughtful and intentional. So let me first share with you some of the items that I came across while I was thrifting, and then I will assemble each basket and tell you how much I spent on each. So see if you can guess the theme of each basket as I'm thrifting for items. Now that you've seen some of the items that I thrifted, let's start putting the baskets together. Now, I did buy a lot of items at yard sales and also at church sales that we have in our area, and I did not film those. The church sales are just too crowded. There are too many people. It's not really practical to film. And at the yard sales, I feel a little awkward about filming. I don't want to invade the homeowner's privacy. They probably wouldn't appreciate it. So those I did not film. But I did keep a master list of all of the items that I thrifted as I thrifted them. Like I mentioned, I started thrifting in March. I'm putting this video together in November, so there's no way I would have been able to remember everything that I purchased and also the prices. So I do have my list. I also kept the price tags on a lot of the items just in case I lost my list. And also the baskets that I'm using from my own collection. I've finally reached that point in my life where I have decided that I have too many baskets. So I thought that this would be a perfect way to find good homes for them. So all of the baskets that I'm using, I already had. So let's get started with the first basket. And by the way, make sure you stay till the end because I think the last basket, I really outdid myself on it. I'm very proud of that one. So for this one, I am calling this first basket the cocktail hour basket. And this idea came about because my son and his fiance just moved into the cutest little apartment in the city. And they, are young professionals. They like to have friends over. So I thought it would be very useful for them to have, barware, things of that sort, so that when they have friends over, they can entertain. So this basket all came together because I found this. For $2.99, I bought this 9-piece barware set from Goodwill, and it has the cutest graphic on the container. And when I opened it, it has all kinds of things in here that someone would need for mixing cocktails. So I got all of this for $2.99. And inside there is the jigger, I think you call it, the cocktail shaker, a little noisy, sorry about that. And there are also some tongs for the ice. So this was kind of the beginning for the idea of this cocktail basket. And in addition, I also found these really nice marble coasters. There are 5 of them for $3.99 from Goodwill. They have felt on the bottom so they don't scratch the table. This is another really good find. This was Cynthia Rowley. I think that's a brand that they sell at Home Goods, but I found it at Goodwill for $9.99. And it has some really beautiful detail, handles. Of course, you always need a ice bucket for cocktails. These glasses I found at a church sale. That was a church sale. And these were 50 cents each. And I found 3 of them, 3 matching ones. I was really hoping for 4 because when I put together these baskets, I like to do things in even numbers, so like 2, 4, 6. Unfortunately, these were the only 3 matching ones. So I got those. So those were $1.50 for 3 of them. Oh, this tray. This tray was also from the church sale for $1. Now it didn't look like this. When I first bought it, it had like a very old-fashioned floral design on it. And I knew that my son and his fiance, that's really not their taste. So I thought that I would just make it over. I had some of this black and red buffalo check fabric left over from another project. So I decided to decoupage it on the tray. That way it also makes it waterproof in case they spill something. It's easy to clean up. And then to add a little bit more glamour, I just took some Rub and Buff and I added it around the edge, also to cover some of the nicks and scratches that were showing. So that is the first basket. And because I still had some room in the budget, the last thing I bought, and I didn't thrift this, I actually got this from Home Goods, and I thought this would be cute to include. It's just a set of cocktail napkins. It says full of cheer, and these were $3.99. So let me remove the tags from all of these items, clean them, and then I'll put them all together in the basket so you can see what they look like. So here is the cocktail hour basket all assembled. So let me just give you a close-up look here. I have the bar set, the glasses, the napkin. I put the coasters inside the bucket. So the total cost for this one was $18.46. So well below my maximum budget of $20. So the next basket is called the Tea Lover's Delight Basket. And this is for my friend who is an absolute tea addict, and she drinks tea all day long. So I thought it would be really fun to create a sweet little basket for her with some tea essentials. So let me show you what I came up for that basket. This tin I thrifted from a yard sale, and this was $1, and it has the keep calm and carry on, very British saying. So even though this is empty, I do have some loose leaf tea that I'm going to fill it with. I found this beautiful tea towel. It has little embroidery on it, and then it has this very sweet crochet edge. I thought that would be nice to include in the basket. And this was from the church sale for $1. Or was it? No, this was actually from Goodwill for $1.99. I found this container, airtight container, and I thought this would be perfect to put sugar cubes in. I know it's kind of like an old-fashioned thing to do, but I think having a bowl of sugar cubes when you're serving tea to guests, even to yourself, it's just such a nice little touch that I thought that would be perfect to include. And this was $1, and this was from the yard sale. And I have these nice little tongs that I can put inside. Actually, it does fit in there. I will probably just include it with the basket. I have sugar cubes to put in here. These are things that I have on hand anyway. So I will be filling this with sugar cubes, including the tong for the sugar cubes. I also got this diffuser, this little tea ball diffuser. So you just put loose leaf tea in there. You stick it in your teapot or in your teacup. And this was $1 from the yard sale, brand new. I found this silver-toned 2-tier cookie server, and this was $3 from a yard sale. But of course, if you're going to have tea, you're going to have cookies to go along with it. So I thought this was a nice size. And my favorite finds for this basket were these beautiful teacups with matching saucers. So these were from a yard sale. These were a little bit more expensive. They were actually not really, because I got the saucer and the teacup for $3 each. So I got the blue one, and I don't know if you can see, but they have these really beautiful butterflies. I'll give you a closer look at them in a little bit. So I got the blue one, and I got one in yellow. There were others in the set of different colors. I think there was like an orange one, there was a pink one, and a green one, but the other ones had cracks or chips. These were the only two that were in perfect condition, and it is fine porcelain. So I thought that would be really nice to include in the tea basket. And I think that's it. So let me put everything together and show you how the basket looks at the end. So here is how the Tea Lover's Delight basket turned out. It took some jiggling and moving things around, but I was finally able to get everything in there. I think the basket is probably a little small for it, but I think it still looks pretty cute. I did include a scrap of velvet ribbon, and this was something that fell from one of my garlands, and I thought it would look cute, just kind of stuck between the folds of the ribbon. I had a little bit of money to play with on this basket as well because I was able to get everything for really good prices. So I thought that the perfect thing to finish this basket off would be some cookies. So I went to my grocery store and I found these Pepperidge Farm cookies on sale. They were on sale for $4.99, and I really stocked up because this is actually my favorite flavor, this Verona and apricot raspberry. Let me know if you've ever tried these, but these are really delicious. They have other flavors that are also very good, but this is definitely my favorite. So I decided to include that with the Tea Lover's Delight basket because why not? Of course, you need cookies with your tea. So the grand total for this basket, even including the cookies that I purchased, came to $19.98. So just 2 cents under my maximum budget, but I still think it turned out really sweet, and I think my friend is going to love it. This next basket was the one that I had the hardest time thrifting for, which surprised me because I thought I would find lots of things. The theme of the basket is French inspired items. I have a friend who absolutely loves France. She actually started taking French classes online recently. Her goal is to eventually take a trip to France. So I thought I would put together a little basket for her of things that have that French theme. So let me tell you what I found. But again, I had a hard time. I really had to struggle to find things. One thing that I found at my local Goodwill was this pillow for $2.99. I did wash it. I put the sticker back on just so I would remember how much I paid for it. But it has these really nice French words. It has the Arc de Triomphe. So I thought that would be a nice thing for her to put on a pillow or on her bed. So that was the first item that I found actually. So I thought after I found this one fairly easily, I thought the rest would be easy too, but that wasn't the case. But I did find this cup or this mug also at Goodwill for $1.99. And this has the main landmarks of Paris. So it has the Eiffel Tower, Notre Dame Cathedral, the Champs-Élysées, Sacré-Cœur. So I thought, again, this would be a nice thing for her to have her coffee in and dream that she's in Paris. Oh, by the way, I call this basket the Living the French Dream basket. The next thing I found was this little sachet. It says Provence on it, and it has embroidered lavender branches, and it has a little zipper on it. Brand new. Looks like it's never been used. And this one I found for 99 cents at Goodwill, and I do have some lavender that I harvested from my own plants. I have more if I need it. I'm going to fill the sachet with. And the one thing that I was very excited to find, because this was completely unexpected, I found this bulletin board covered in toile, and a toile fabric with black ribbon. And this one was from Goodwill for $3.99. It also comes with the little sawtooth hanging attachments. So I thought this is perfect for the French themed basket. So I had been trying to thrift things for this basket since March. Again, I had some success, but not as much as I thought I would. So I still had a lot of money left in the budget because I think this altogether just came to, I think I still had like $10. I had only probably spent like $10, maybe a little bit more than $10 on this. So I decided that that wasn't really enough to make a nice basket for her. So I went to Home Goods and I found this à la maison peppermint tea, hand and body soap, and this has shea butter and argan oil. It is made in France, it's imported, and there are 4 bars. And this was $5.99 at Marshall's Home Goods. So I thought this would be nice to round out all of the other things. And of course, because I have a coffee mug, I thought, why not get some French cookies to go with the coffee? And this is also from Home Goods, and these are French butter cookies, dark chocolate and sea salt, and it even has a cookie wearing one of those striped shirts and a beret. And this was $3.99. So altogether, after I added up all the items that I purchased with my thrifting and also the 2 items that I purchased new from Home Goods, the total cost of this basket was $19.94. So this one is a little bit harder to put together because this isn't going to fit in a basket. So let me see how I can assemble this in a way that still looks attractive, but it's not too awkward to carry. So here is the Living the French Dream basket. I just decided to use this black and white ribbon. I thought it looked very French and it complemented the toile bulletin board well. So I just decided to use that and just kind of wrap it around and corral everything. And I think that works out well. But this is how it turned out. I think my friend is really going to enjoy it. And now for the last basket, and I did so well on this one. I'm so proud of myself. So I have a niece who is just getting interested in vintage decor. She has her first apartment, so she doesn't have a lot to start with. She just has like the main furniture and some accessories. So since she's expressed this love of vintage decor, she loves coming to my house and looking at all the things that I have. I thought, how about if I put together what I called the Vintage Decor Startup Kit? And these are things that are associated with vintage decor design. And these were probably the easiest to thrift out of all of the other items that I thrifted. So let me show you what I have. I found some vintage books at my local church sale, and these were 50 cents each. I got 3 of them, different colors. I thought they would be nice. I do have some twine, so I'm going to wrap them together so they make a really nice presentation. I got this brass candlestick holder for $1.99 from Goodwill, and this is just perfect for anyone starting out on their vintage decor journey. This looks great in a vignette, on a table, on a mantle. She can do so much with this. So this was a really good find. Next, we have transferware, which is another iconic element of vintage design. And I found these blue and white teacups from Goodwill for $2.99 each, which I thought was a little high, but I went ahead and I picked them up because they had this really nice country scene on them. So I got 2 of those. There were a whole bunch, but they were, like I said, I thought they were a little expensive, so I just bought 2. And then I bought 2 blue and white transferware plates. And these are Johnson Brothers, made in England, and these were from a yard sale for $2 each. Even though they're not an exact match to the teacups, anytime you put blue and white together, it always looks great. I picked up this cross stitch, I don't know what you would call this, this little sampler of cross stitch sampler from Goodwill, and that was $1.99. And then I picked up the frame at a yard sale for $1, I believe, from the church sale for $1. So then I just removed the glass, and there really wasn't a print in the frame, but I just removed the glass and I put the cross stitch in it, and I think that makes a really sweet piece of wall art for her to use. And then I also found this beautiful, delicate crocheted doily runner little tablecloth that she can use. And this was $1 from the church sale. They sell really beautiful handmade things for such cheap prices. So I thought this would be something nice to include in the basket. So let me put that one together for you. So here is how the vintage decor startup kit basket, as I'm calling it, turned out. I think it turned out really nice. I was able to drape that little crochet doily over the edge. I think it looks very sweet like that. The books I bundled together with the twine. I managed to tuck the cups back there. I tried to put them in the front, but I couldn't find a nice way to arrange them. And the candlestick holder, the cross stitches there. And then to finish it off, I had this little bit of holly sprig that I had left over from my Christmas decorations and another scrap of velvet ribbon, and that is how I finished it off. By the way, the total cost for this basket, the Vintage Decor Startup Kit, it came to $17.46. So significantly under my $20 maximum budget, which is why I'm so proud of it, that I was able to get so much for so little. And I think my niece is absolutely going to love every item that I put in this basket. So here are the 4 baskets that I was able to assemble with my thrifting. A few of the items I had to buy new, but I still was able to stick to my maximum budget of $20. So I hope that this video inspires you to do something similar. As you can see, you can really come up with a very thoughtful, beautiful gift and spend very little money on it. And I think that this is just a great way to do gift giving at Christmas or really any time of the year. So let me know in the comments below which one of these baskets was your favorite, and I hope to see you in the next video.